Hey guys, I'm back with the next part in Dev Diary series, continuing to talk about the mission system. Very challenging system to set up, especially on your first time, so don't get frustrated. I'm going to give you an overview of how I created the system, how it works, and basically why I chose to do the things that I did to get it to work the way that it does. Okay, so first of all, it's almost 3 in the morning local time, and I have work tomorrow morning, so that should be pretty interesting. Sorry if I sound kind of dull or tired or my voice doesn't sound too good. Apologize for that, but let's try to get going here. So in the last video I talked about how I broke up this whole system for doing missions and quests and stuff into a mission manager, which is just a blueprint that looks like this. It's dropped into the level and it does some objective management stuff. And then we have the objective component, and this guy is a blueprint component that we can attach to our blueprints that do most of the objective work. Okay, so let's jump into Unreal and have a look at the fun stuff. So I'm in Unreal, I've got this test level, and this test level basically follows this little example flow graph of a sample mission. So we wake up inside of a train. We don't know why we're here, but the first thing we need to do is explore the train and exit the train car. Okay, that's what we need to do. As we explore the train car, we're going to find two kinds of objectives. We're going to find an example of a secondary objective, which is not necessary to beat the game, but it could give us hints or clues as to what to do next or how to solve the current puzzle. We're also going to come across examples of primary objectives. These are the objectives that are flagged red right here in this diagram that have to be completed for you to advance the mission forward and beat the level. Okay, so what we'll do is we will go ahead and jump into Unreal, and I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and play an editor, and let's pretend we woke up. Again, this is just prototyping, so it's not the most beautiful, amazing level. In game development, when we prototype, stuff is always ugly because we want to we want to prove stuff out fast. We want to fail quickly and often when we start prototyping, so that we can arrive to the final product sooner and easier. Okay, so this is a simple environment. It's got a combination of assets that Brandon has started prototyping out on the art side, and also assets from the Unreal 4 starter content. So you might recognize these orange or yellow tables from that. You might recognize other assets from the starter content as well as we go through this, including these doors and stuff. So I wake up, and if I look around, oh, there's a staircase. Looks like there's a second floor. Looks like there's a hallway down there, some more doors and stuff, and there's a door right here that I'm already looking at. So let's check this door out. And if I do search on it, it says, looks like an exit. Okay, got a green light up there. Let's see if we can open a door. No, we can't. It seems like it's locked, and it says the door's locked. Okay, eventually we want to add a sound effect of like a door trying to open, but it can't, which would be pretty cool. So let's kind of explore around and see if we can find a key to open that door. Oh, look at this. That's interesting. So if I do a search here, I kind of zoom in, and it looks like there's a dead body. It looks like the Unreal 4 default character from the starter content. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he had too much to drink and that chair fell on him and killed him. But my hint says, what's behind that door? So let's see if we can get this door open and investigate that room. Well, looks like I can't. If I try to open a door, it doesn't open. And it says it's jammed. The knob looks loose. With the right tool, I might be able to break it open. So it looks like this door doesn't need exactly a key, but it looks like the knob is loose and I might be able to get it broken open if I find the right tool. So think about it. What kind of tool could break that open? Maybe a hammer? Maybe a baseball bat? maybe a really big rock, I don't know. So we'll have to explore the environment and see if we can find something to get that open. So let's check this door out. If I do a search on it, it says, don't think I can get through here. No, it doesn't look like it. If I go up to the door, you can't open it, and it says the door is sealed shut. Interesting how I spelled the word is, and cannot be opened. Alright, here's another door. It's just a door. Press action to open door. So we'll open it up. Oh, opened up. Kind of a weird dark room. Remember, I have a flashlight, which I showed in another video how I got that mechanic working. Looks like a little closet over here, but there's nothing in there. And here's a bench. If I crouch to look under it, no, it doesn't look like there's anything there either. If I do a search on the bench, nothing there. Nothing in the closet. Okay. Again, that's just a door. So let's get out of here. Let's keep searching. Again, use the search function to kind of zoom in and search around, see if we find some clues. Maybe turn a flashlight on under these tables. Can't find anything. Let's go upstairs and see if we can find any more clues. Here's another door. It says, don't think I can get through here. Yep, another sealed shut door that cannot be opened. So let's look around through here. Oh, there's something on the table. That says, please activate me. That's actually a mistake, but anyway. I'll hit the action button to activate this. Oh, it looks like it's a note. It's kind of hard to read because of the text I chose. So let me just go this way. If I click on that with the action button, it says, attention. In case of an emergency, all exit doors will automatically lock. Only train stewards have the key that unlocks train car exits. I hit the action button again so that I can unpause the game and continue. So I can't pick this item up, but it's giving me some clues. So we did find that door downstairs that says it's locked. It's not jammed. It's not sealed shut. It's just locked. I may need a key for that, but we'll keep looking. So let's keep looking around here. Can't find anything here. Here's another door at the end of the hallway. Don't think I can get through here either. Nope, this door's sealed shut and can't be opened. Let's check out this door with the green light. Isn't that obvious? It's just a door. No, it's not locked. Turn on the flashlight. Something in the corner. Let's check out the closet. Nothing in there. What's this? So, my hint is telling me, looks like I can use that to break something. Interesting hint. Let me pick this up. It says pick up fire axe. So I'll pick it up. I know it didn't look like a fire axe, but this is just prototyping. I didn't have a fire axe model handy, and I didn't want to waste time jumping into ZBrush or something and modeling out a fire axe. So let's go downstairs. Let's see if we can use the fire axe to bust open this locked door. Nope, can't. But we did find a door that said that it was jammed. This door right here says it's jammed, but the knob looks loose. With the right tool, I might be able to break it open. I just picked up some kind of bashing tool, so let's try to open it with that. Bingo, now it opens. So let's check this room out. Well, there's a dead guy over here. At least I think he's dead. Nothing in the closet. Looks like he's holding something. Huh, looks like a key. If I do a search, he says, looks like a key. So I'm going to crouch down. It says pick up key, so I'm going to pick that up. Thanks, buddy. I don't think you'll be needing that key anymore, so I'm just going to take that off your hands. So I'm going to sprint down to the door. Door's locked. Let me try the key. Bingo, that was the key for the door. Now we can get out of here. So as I go in here, game's going to fade out, and it's going to end. And it ends because this is just a little prototype level, but in the final game, we'll want it to end, and then we'll load up the next mission or campaign or chapter of the story or whatever you want to call it, right? And that next chapter, that next level is going to have a mission manager just like this one. and we can customize it and stuff to do new objectives and new missions for the player. Okay, so let me show you how all this stuff works. It's actually very complicated in the sense that there's a lot of systems that tie in together to get this whole thing to work. I'll go through it. I can't spend 5 hours talking about it, so I'm going to go through it pretty quick. So I apologize if you were trying to see how the whole thing works and I missed something or I didn't explain something thoroughly. I apologize for that ahead of time. So the way this works is pretty simple but complicated at the same time. Let's first of all look at the mission manager. So you drop this mission manager into the level, and you can give the mission a name. So right now it's just called test mission, but I could call this anything I want. This mission could be called infiltrate the enemy base. It could be called find the way out, find the exit, or whatever you want, right? And here's the mission description start, which you can type in anything you want there. Mission description end, again, you can type anything you want there. Mission start sound effects and mission start song. You can, if you have music or sound effects, you can plug them in here. Okay, but the most important thing about this mission manager is these objectives up here. This is the most important thing. And you can have as many objectives as you want. If you want to have 16 objectives, you can do that. If you just want to have one, you can do that too. So in this case, we have 3 main objectives. These are objectives, by the way, that have to be completed, not secondary objectives, just primary main objectives to complete the mission and beat the game. So the first objective is to get the fire axe. The next one is to use the fire axe to get through the jammed steward's door. The next one, well, actually, this is wrong. The next one is, whoops, I just noticed a mistake. The next one is, if I click this little picker, I can pick the key in his hand, in the dead guy's hand. There it is, door key. Now I need to add the final door, which is this one right here, right? This is the door we have to unlock. So I'll add another array element. It's set to none. Click on the picker, click on the door, and that adds it to the dining car exit. So now I've got 4 objectives. I've got an array of 4 objectives that have to be completed in order to complete the mission. You complete the objectives to ultimately complete the mission. You complete the mission to ultimately beat the level and ultimately beat the game. So pretty simple in that sense. Now, the objectives. Where are the objectives? Well, the objectives, in order to understand how they work, there isn't an objective class in the game. That doesn't exist. I didn't actually create, something like the mission manager, which is considered to be an objective. That doesn't exist. Instead, what I did was I created an objective component. I'll show you what that means. If I go to my content browser, I'm going to go to LTVL, my blueprints folder, and the most important thing here is the interactive objects folder and the mission systems. The mission systems is where I have the mission manager. Let's have a look at, and that's this mission manager here. So let's look at the blueprint for that. I have some functions there. Construction script doesn't really have much. I just basically define my total objectives, which is the length of all the objectives in the array. If I go to my event graph, there's really nothing here. Again, like I said, the mission manager really doesn't do anything. It just gets information and manages stuff, right? Like a manager in real life, they don't really do anything. They just delegate work to you. Hope my manager isn't watching this. Anyway, so what this has is a few functions, and the functions are basically what do any of the work that's done in the mission manager is done by functions. So I've got this update progress function, which basically, like the name suggests, it updates progress. So it takes progress, it adds it together, and then it figures out if we have reached the total progress needed in order for the mission to be, considered complete. And we've also got a check player for key. This is an old function I created while I was iterating different versions of the mission manager. This one didn't work out too well, so I ended up kind of abandoning it. I'm probably going to delete this function later on just to clean things up, but I don't think I'll need it. Then we have the get player character. This is basically just a function that gets the player character when the game starts. If I go to event graph, here it is on event begin play. This creates a reference to the player character for future work. So if I ever need to create a blueprint where I need the access to player character, I can just do get player character, right? If I didn't do that, I would have to do a get player character, and then I would have to do a cast to my player character, and then I'd have to get this out and do something with it. So instead of doing casting every single time, which is kind of dumb to do that a whole bunch of times in a row, it's better just to get a single player reference, which is a cast, but you only do it once, and you capture the player character in a variable. And now what you can do is you can bring up that variable, you can set it, you can get it, set it, get it, do whatever you want with it. Okay? Pretty simple. Now, that's the mission manager. We have objective component. If I open this up, this guy does a lot of work. Not in the event graph, but it's got these two main functions. It's got an update progress, which is really, really simple. All it does is update progress. Then we have an objective completed check. And what this does is it does a bunch of math and stuff, and well, not a bunch of math. It basically looks at the current progress. If the current progress has reached the final progress amount, then it means, and this is an objective that must be completed, then we basically say this objective is completed, and we fire off this function in the mission manager, which updates progress, and we send how much progress we have. So we send that value to the mission manager using this function, and this basically starts to tell the mission manager, hey, objective A has been completed. Hey, objective B has been completed. Hey, objective C has now been completed. This player is just beating this game left and right, and they're about to win. So the other part that does the hard work about the objective component is the variables. So here are all the variables that I went over on Xmind in the previous video. So the objective name, objective description, is objective completed, does this objective must this objective must be completed, the objective type, final progress amount, current progress, and mission. Okay. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit crazy in interactive objects. So let's look at this game real quick. So in every game world, you're going to need objects that you interact with. Well, maybe not in every game, but in this kind of game that we're making with WeMake, there's going to be interactive objects that you have to deal with, right? So what's an interactive object? That's something you got to think about, right? Think about the game that you're trying to make. If you're trying to make a game like this, what is the player going to have to do? Chances are the player's going to have to interact with something, right? So maybe a note on a table like this that gives you a hint or a clue about the backstory, or maybe about how to solve a puzzle or something like that, right? That's something you interact with because you have to press a button and something has to happen. That's interaction. That's an interactive object. But then you have a thing like a door. And a door, that's an interactive object too, right? Because you go up to the door, you try to use it, it's either broken and you can't get through it, or it's locked and you got to find a key to interact with it, or it's not locked or it's not broken and you just interact with it and it just opens and you go through it and you go into the next room. So that's an interactive object too. But then we've got things like this really fancy fire axe, which doesn't look like a fire axe at all, but let's use our imagination and just pretend that's a fire axe. That's some kind of a tool, right, that the player can use. Maybe it's not a weapon. right? Because in a game, a pistol that you shoot at enemies with, that's a weapon. But if you find a lockpick kit that you use to unlock doors, maybe unlock a safe or unlock a locker, or maybe a drawer in a desk or something, well, a lockpick kit doesn't really fall under, you know, a note or a diary. It doesn't fall under the category of a weapon. I would consider that more a tool, right? Technically, it's a key because you can use it to unlock stuff. But let's think of it as a tool. So I basically had to create this class of object, which is a tool, right? What else do you interact with? Items that you pick up, like this key, for example. This key is a pickup item because you go up to it, you hit the action button, you pick it up, and it gets added to your inventory. So you're walking around with a key that you can use to unlock whatever door the key belongs to. Okay? So a pickup item is definitely going to be an interactive object. So when I sat down, I thought about all this stuff. You know, like I said, you want to think like an engineer. And if you don't know how to think like an engineer, it's real simple. Engineers basically solve problems. And the way they solve them is by taking a high-level approach to something and then breaking it down into its subcomponents. And then they basically make a plan as to how they're going to program and script or engineer these different subsystems. And then they start to build and program these subsystems one by one until eventually they have all the subsystems built. They put it all together, and if everything works out, you don't have some crazy bug that crashes the whole thing. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on about the engineer stuff. So I sat down and thought about it and realized I needed some kind of a master, or in Unreal terms, a parent class for interactive objects. So I created this guy. It's called the IO parent class. IO stands for interactive object. This is the parent class of all interactive objects in the game. Okay? So I actually have a description. As I hover over this object, you can see a description that says, this is the parent class for all interactive objects. Examples of interactive objects: doors, pickup items, traps, clues. It could be tools, it could be weapons, it could be a box of shotgun shells. It could be anything. Falls under the category of the interactive object. And if I open this up, it has some base functionality and a whole bunch of it. I'm not going to go over all of it, but basically it handles everything that we need for our interactive object to work. And this is probably the most important piece of code, is this one down here, the action event, which is used to execute specific functionality, i.e. make a door open, or pick up ammo, or add something to inventory, etc. Okay, it's also got some objective functionality, and it's a work in progress, by the way, so this will probably change. And basically what this does is, in a nutshell, when the player hits the action button, right, this is going to fire off as long as you're, you know, close to the object that you're trying to pick up, or the door that you're trying to operate, or the key that you're trying to grab. It's going to run this functionality. And it's basically, what it's going to do is, it's going to first of all look and check if the object that you're interacting with, like a door for example, it's going to check if it's locked. And I can show you that if I jump back in here. Here's the door where the dead steward is. This door's locked. So I have this parameter here called action locked, and it's set to true. I could set it to false, but it's going to be set to true. And if I set it to false, watch what happens. I can just run over to this door and I can open it. It's not jammed anymore. If I set action lock to true, now the door is locked and I can't open it. And I have a parameter down here called key, and I can type in whatever I want, and all I have to do is go to the door that I want locked, set it as locked, give it a unique name for the key, right? So think of the name for key being an actual key, right? hopefully your house or your apartment has only a single key or a key and spare that can open it, right? And if someone goes to a hardware store and buys some keys or whatever, those keys should not work in your lock. And that's how this system works. If the door's locked, and it doesn't have to be a door, again, this is agnostic. It's an agnostic system. So I didn't want this to be limited to only doors. So for example, say you're not doing a door, say your interactive object is going to be a safe. You wouldn't want to have a parameter that says is door locked because it's a safe. But then you don't want a parameter that says is safe locked because then if you do a door, you don't want to say is safe locked. So I just put action locked because it's the action button that activates this stuff. So you give it a name, a key name. In this case, I called it jam. Don't ask me why, but I did. And then the item that unlocks it is this fire axe that doesn't look like a fire axe. But this guy has a key that matches with it. It's called jam. So what happens is, as long as I have this object here in my inventory, as long as I picked it up and added it to my inventory, I can unlock any door that uses that same key, jam, right? Which would be pretty useful because if there's more jam doors, right? All the jam doors that can be opened for fire axe can have the key jammed, and then fire axe has the key jammed. So now that fire axe can be used to break open any door that's jammed, or maybe a locker that's jammed or anything like that. So pretty cool stuff. Some other parameters here. I'm not going to go over all of them just because it's going to take me forever to do that. This one's really important, is primary objective. That tells if it's primary objective or not. But the cool thing about this is, let me go down. If I select this door, you notice that you've got all your components of the blueprint up here, right? Well, if you go down, there's this objective component. And if I click on that, I get even more parameters, okay? And these are the objective settings. They're kind of hidden, but these are the objective settings. This is where you can give this objective a name, which is called dining car exit, which is actually wrong. It should be called the jammed steward door or whatever, right? And you can give it a objective description. Again, that's something that you can set up so that you can spit that out to the player HUD if you wanted to, or maybe a player journal when they go into the pause menu or something like that. And then this is the most important parameter here, is, well, one of the most important, is the must be completed. Okay, this tells the system that this is a main objective. Remember the objectives with the red flags? That's what this does. This makes this objective a red flag objective, a main objective that must be completed to beat the mission and eventually beat the game. Okay, and then down here you have mission manager. What you do here is, this is a reference to this mission manager. So by default, this will be set to none, right? So what I do is, I just come in here and select the mission manager, which is this one here. Or you can hit the teardrop icon and select the mission manager. That's it. Now the mission manager and this objective can speak and talk to each other. They can communicate together and get stuff working. If not, it won't work. So it's pretty simple. Let me show you the objective component. So going back to the interactive parent class with all this crazy functionality, you can see I have an objective component. If I go down here and I go to the custom category, you'll see objective component. And you will not, I just want to make this clear, don't bother looking for the objective component on your computer. You're not going to find it. It doesn't exist. That's because Unreal doesn't come with this component. I created this component myself in Unreal 4 from scratch. So if I go to the content browser and I go to my mission systems, here's the objective component. And it's really easy to do that. If you just right click and you go to blueprint class, instead of doing a regular blueprint like an actor, pawn, or character or whatever, which is what people usually do, like 99% of the time, you can come down here and create a component. You can create an actor component or a scene component. I ended up creating an actor component. And when you do that, you basically have a new component. Call it whatever you want. Now when you open it up, it's just a component, and you can create different functions for it and stuff like that. You can give it different variables and stuff, which is pretty cool. So I'm just gonna delete that. I'm not gonna check that into Perforce, wouldn't make sense. So going back here, so basically all interactive objects, because I put it in the parent class, have this objective component. And you can see all the parameters under the objective settings: the objective name, objective description, is objective completed, must this objective be completed, what kind of objective type is it primary, secondary, bonus, or is it an Easter egg, how much progress do we need to complete it, what mission is it associated with, all that stuff is right there. Why is that important? Very important, because what this means is I can create more classes from this parent class. So we know that we're going to need doors, we know that we're going to need weapons, we know that we're going to need keys, we know that we're going to need diaries and notes that we can read clues from. All of those objects derive from this interactive object parent class. And if I go to the gameplay folder, everything's broken down right here. Here's an example of a door. It's just for prototyping. That's not important. Here's a folder that has locked doors, locked door types. So if you're a designer and you're working with me or working on this project, you would basically just go to the gameplay folder. You would look for locked doors, right? If you needed to set up a level with a locked door, you come in here, and what you would do is you would go to the locked door parent class, which is a child of the main parent class. Remember this main parent class? This one's a child of it, and it derives everything, including the object and component. It inherits all that stuff, and then I could override it over here. And the door has door opening functionality, because the main parent class doesn't need it, but the door parent class does. So you can do some cool stuff with this. So again, if you're a designer and you need to create a different type of locked door, like let's say here I've got the jammed steward's door, which has certain parameters set up for it. And I've got the dining car exit door, which has its own parameters. Sorry about that, I was just yawning. It's about 3:20 in the morning. So let me go back to the gameplay folder. Now there's items. So if I go to items, there's an item parent class, okay? And this item parent class is based off of the IO parent class. And what this one does is this one starts to do more specific pickup item behavior. So basically it has a new parameter that says can be picked up. So basically if I go back into the game real quick, that fire axe is a type of pickup item, and you can see it says can be picked up. If it can be picked up, that means that all this stuff happens and the player adds this fire axe to their item inventory, okay? But some items don't need to be picked up, like this note on this table, which gives us a hint as to, you know, where the key might be to unlock the exit door and get out of here and beat the level, right? So this object has the can picked up set to false. If I set it to true, watch what happens. I should be able to just go up to it and pick it up. There we go. I just picked it up. But I'm going to say no. I don't want to pick it up because it's just a note. I just want to read it and kind of leave it there. But of course, if a designer said, no, I want to be able to pick up the notes, then you can do that. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty robust, easy to use system, like which was my aim from the beginning. So that's the item parent class. Then I've got myself a tools parent class, which has its own parameters and functionality and stuff like that. And I made the fire axe based off of that tools parent class, because tools are different from other items, right? Like we talked about. Weapon is a weapon. You could use it to hurt enemies or whatever. A tool is something you can use to activate stuff. So imagine you're in a Resident Evil type game, classic Resident Evil, not the new ones, and you're in some kind of water pumping station, and your next objective is to drain some water tank, but you can't because the machine that operates it is missing a valve handle. So that valve handle, you got to go find it. That's basically like a tool. Now you can use that valve handle throughout the game. As long as it's in your inventory, you can use that valve handle to operate all kinds of things that require a valve handle to operate. So it could be maybe some kind of manual old bridge. Maybe it could be water treatment plant stuff. It could be just about anything you want, really. So that's what the tool class is all about. And then you have keys. Keys are based off of the item parent class, which in turn is based off of the IO parent class. And keys are really simple. Basically, I'll show you how simple they work. You just, make a new one based off of the item parent class, throw it into level, and you got your parameters over here. You can tell it can be picked up. You can tell it what the key name is. So the key is called exit. That means it'll open any door that has the matching key called exit. See that? Pretty simple stuff. Pretty simple stuff. And here you put the search text and the action text. Remember when we do a search and it says, hey, it looks like a key. And then when you get close to it so you can pick it up, it says pickup key, right? And it can be picked up and it's a primary objective. So the mission manager knows this guy's a primary objective. And of course we go to the objective component here. And this is where we tell it what the objective name is, objective description, if it must be completed, which it does, what kind of objective it is, it's primary. Also, what mission is it associated with? It's associated with the current mission manager. Normally, you wouldn't have that same mission manager. You would have a mission that has an actual name, like Chapter 1, Escape Dining Car. That would probably be the first mission. And then you complete all these objectives to complete that mission. In the next one, it might be different. Maybe there's a fire that started and you have a limited amount of time to put the fire out before the whole train gets engulfed in flames and you die. So your objectives are, get through a certain door, open up this lockbox which has a fire extinguisher inside, whatever, you know what I mean? You just gotta think about what objectives you want to do. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's a complicated system to put together, but once you put it together, it's very robust, flexible, but it's still simple and pretty easy to use. You basically just plop down whatever interactive object you want based off of a subclass. And right now, I've got doors, locked doors, unlocked doors. I've got notes and diaries that you can read. I've got tools. And I've got pickup items, in this case, keys. That can change later. I can end up doing the weapon class based off of that. And then from there, I can do an ammunition class. I can also, if I wanted to, maybe I can do an armor class that gives the player armor. It can be anything I want. Maybe even batteries, battery pickups for the flashlight. Because I have a flashlight in this game. But maybe there's a mechanic I can add where the flashlight runs out of batteries, so you have to constantly be finding new batteries. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this dev diary. I'm pretty happy with the first pass on this. I'm going to be polishing it up and obviously making changes as we progress through this WeMake game prototype for GSO. Join me next time as I continue to hammer away at this and continue putting this prototype together.